Strong looks different for each of us, and it's time to put focus on our unique journeys that get us there. This space, created weekly, is for athletes to improve their mindset in order to better navigate challenges that come up in sport and in different seasons of life. On this show, we ask the questions that lead to better answers and have the conversations that truly matter. This is the Becoming Your Strong podcast. Hey, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Your Strong podcast. I did it. I have another fun guest on the pod for today. And I'm so excited because I feel like this is just an excuse to almost take someone out for coffee for people that I don't know as well, but I've done really hard, intense races on the course with. So Katie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. I've listened to some of your shows and I think we need so many more women in this space doing podcasts and asking the questions and interviewing other women. And I'm super happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, and I was going to say too, what I love about Katie is not just like how fierce she is and like that she's becoming the athlete to watch, but quite honestly, you are such an incredible role model, not just for women, but for mothers. And I hope that we get to talk a little bit more about that. To. And I'll be honest, I had no idea that you were a mother until I saw some of your posts and I was like, oh my God, like she's that badass and she's a mom. Holy cow. So it goes to show that like you can still do amazing things after you have kids. So I'm excited to dive into that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yes. Well, let's just talk a little bit about you because I definitely want to learn some things about who the heck Katie Duke is. But maybe even some fun facts of like things that we don't know.
Yes. Yeah. You said you wanted to know something that people don't know. Funny things about me. I start almost every workout with my coffee on the assault bike. And I am like, there's like two people. There's the people who like have their like perfect Yeti mug that fits in their car. I'm the reckless person with like an open mug all the time. So there's just coffee stains all over my life anywhere I go.
I love that.
And I also tend to watch Friends a lot when I do my Zone 2 workouts. Like I will move my phone around the gym.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, I don't need to go hard anyway. So I'm just going to zone out in my Zone 2 and watch Friends. So
I bet you get some good core work in too, because you're probably giggling the entire time. What a good Zone 2.
It's sad because I've seen every episode, so I know every line. So it's just like, it's just like good distraction when you're like, I don't want to ski at this pace for 10 more minutes,
Yes. Oh, gosh. So for anyone looking for Zone 2 recommendations, that's one right there.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that.
And I have my coffee breaks.
Yes. Okay. Those are very good fun facts. I enjoy that. Yeah. I am not a coffee person, but I would probably also do the open mug because I don't do the Yeti stuff. I'm not nearly as fancy.
I'm not cool enough. Yeah.
Well, so Katie, then how did you get into this space? Like, let's go back to the very beginning to like, even as you were younger, were you always athletic when you were younger or did you just find this as you were older?
Yeah, I have been competitive. Like my sister says, since the day I was born, I've been competitive.
Yeah.
I'm the fourth of four. And my brother, who's just like a year and a half older than me, was a fantastic athlete, played soccer, played all the sports. And so like starting at 4, I was just on like the older boys team for everything. Yeah. So like soccer, baseball, basketball, everything. And I was the kid that like wanted to play nonstop. Like you weren't making me go to practice. I was like, can I go play soccer all day, every day? And then I ended up playing college soccer. So I played at University of South Carolina. I played like 2 years there, got pretty burnt out. And then I finished a year at Boise State playing soccer there. And then afterwards, I just got really into like trail running. I did a lot of like marathons, half marathons I really loved. And it actually wasn't until I was trying to get pregnant with my daughter, who's now 10, that I kind of switched gears because I was having a really hard time getting pregnant. And so I really realized like, oh, I wasn't like taking care of my body very well to support all the running I was doing. And I was in this mindset of like, I have to run this amount of miles to like be what I want to be. And so my training really started to shift then. And I started to do more like less running, less like, long, slow runs and more strength training, that kind of stuff. And then a couple years ago, it just kind of so my training started to get more hybrid, I think. Yeah. Like I started doing a lot more like HIIT workouts and I found someone to follow who I really liked, who was like the only person at the time talking about how to train while you're pregnant and postpartum and like how to still lift weights. So I started following her. And then someone was like, you should just do a Spartan race. I think you'd have a lot of fun. And so I went all in. Like my first Spartan race was like in July. It was a Utah race. And I started training like January 1st. I was like, I'm in. And I was like doing like runs through the park, burpees, run more, monkey bars, like making up my own workouts.
So fun.
I loved it. And I crushed that first race. And I was like, okay, now I'm all in on Spartan.
Yeah.
And then the Spartan Pro team kind of like fell off right as I was like getting into it. And I walked into a workout class at Epoch Training Center, which is like right where my new clinic had just opened, my PT clinic.
Yep.
And Grayson was there hosting a DEKA class. And I went to one of his classes and I was like, you're my coach now.
Yep.
We're going to do this. And I really wanted him to coach me for Spartans.
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, I have this DEKA event coming up. And so my first one was like a DEKA Strong, just a local. And I was like, oh, this is fun. And like
fun.
Yeah, this is fun.
Type 2 fun.
Type 2 fun. And like I'm super competitive. So I'm like, I love seeing my times and being like, oh, wait, what does so-and-so have? Yeah, I want to beat that. And I want to beat my old time. And I want to just keep getting better at stuff. So
yeah.
And then it just kind of snowballed. And then we stumbled into High Rocks. And yeah, it's just, yeah.
Okay, so that's super fun then. I love this. I have to ask because Brooklyn, when I had her on, she said that her first strong, she blew it out of the water. And I was like, that was not what happened over here. It was like 20 plus minutes. Terrible. How was your first DEKA experience?
My first strong, I think, was 14:31.
Jesus.
So I was pretty happy. And I am definitely a lot stronger now than I was then. Like I watched the video of that first race and my legs are like pretty skinny runner legs still. So it's kind of funny to see like how I've grown as an athlete, like training how like this. So Grayson was basically like, okay, now you need to do a mile and then you need to do a fit and let's put the running into it.
And so I can do that.
Yeah, I remember he called Nancy because I was going to go to SoCal. So I did like a fit sim and I was like 37 minutes ish. And I was like, all right, like, that's okay. I'll go. And then I show up to SoCal and it's like, and he had told Nancy like, okay, this was Katie's times, like get her in the first heat. She played Division I soccer. And so I show up and it's like Lauren Weeks, Vivian.
Oh, Jesus.
Miracle. And I was like, okay, like I don't even know how many laps I'm supposed to run. And I definitely missed a lap that race and came in fourth though. And like got like 30, I think I ran under 35, but had a penalty. So it was 35 something.
But still.
But so yeah, I was just like, okay, this is fun. And honestly, like physically, I have some pretty bad ankle issues.
Oh, geez.
So finding a sport that I love that isn't like 10 miles of trail running has been like this huge silver lining to all this that I didn't expect. So
yeah, how cool.
Yeah.
So let's rewind back to maybe that first fit race. And I want to hear about like, how did you tackle that? Because I'm sure that there was like certain pressure or expectation. Actually, I don't even know if there was expectations, but like you had to be thinking something.
Yeah.
Like lining up next to someone like Lauren Weeks. Like,
totally.
How did you overcome all of that? Or what was that experience like?
Yeah. I mean, what's funny and embarrassing now is like, I didn't know much about Lauren Weeks at the time because I was just getting into DEKA. I hadn't even heard of High Rocks, I think, at that point. But I knew who Nicole Miracle was for sure because I'd Spartan raced against her. And I was like as I was there, I was like, okay, this is like, these are all amazing women, right? I think Calypso might have been there too.
Jeez.
Those like big people. And I think the hardest part was, well, you know how DEKA likes to amp everyone up. So they started doing all this social media, which I wasn't used to at the time. And I was like, oh, they like made a thing about me. Like people know I'm coming. Like I'm much more of like the athlete. Like I just want to show up and be under the radar.
Yes.
And run my race and have no one care. Like that's what I want.
Yeah.
So definitely like some external pressure, but not as much at that race as later races, I think.
Yeah.
But I think mentally I was just like, I didn't know what to expect. So I didn't know to be like super nervous. And I just tried to hang most of the time. So I just tried to hang. I was like, this is so fun.
Yeah. But I think that there's some beauty to that. Like I remember when I did my first DEKA fit ever and I just went elite with it because I was like, look, I want to race in the elite wave at World Championships in 24. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to do that, I have to line up with the best of the best and sort of rip off that Band-Aid. And like, you never know until you just go and do it.
Totally.
And I think that just like going in with like, okay, pressure is a privilege. Like
I love it.
this is where I'm
Yeah.
gonna like elevate to the rest of the field. Doesn't matter what actually happens. It's just like putting those tick marks or even like putting those
Mhm.
coins like into the bucket that I
Mhm.
think people that are like, well, what wave should I do? What division should I do? What do you want to do?
Yeah. Yeah, where do you wanna go? Right.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I think that that's awesome. And one of my favorite moments that with you from this past season, like now we fast forward to DEKA Worlds and we could
Mhm.
probably talk a little bit more about some of those
Sure.
races because you and I did at
A lot.
least two races. Yeah, we did at least two races together. I'm trying to like go back and think of all the races now. But I was so proud of you and also like, holy cow, during the strong race.
Oh, thank you.
Because that was like, I mean, and you don't count anyone out in that race, especially in the
Sure.
elite field. Like, there's
Yeah,
people that came from 15th place and were fighting for top 5, you know, so you
totally.
never do. But I was like, holy cow, this is definitely, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not the race where you're like, this is the one for sure that I can like rumble
Right.
in. I'm assuming more of like the fit and the mile or more just because of your running
Yeah.
background. That's where you play. And so I just have to know, like, what was your mentality going into the race and then getting to
Yeah.
those last few burpees? Like, tell me about that race because I got to hear
Okay.
this.
Oh, that's so fun. Well, it's funny. So I'll tell you first about like, so last year I did the like qualified for all 6 races and was super
Yes.
excited. And I was, I got to the weekend and I was like weirdly most excited for the strong. And you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Like that's not my main race because like if you watch me line up next to like Janelle, I'm a tiny human compared to
Yes.
some of these girls.
Yes.
So I think going into like last year, I was just like so proud to like be there. I was
Yeah.
like, and I felt zero pressure, which part of that is because I just was like, low expectations. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm happy to be here. This is really cool. I'm just here to like see what I can do. And I was really happy. I got like 8th, I think, last year. So this year it was very similar of like, man, I'm just stoked that I'm like lining up next to all these people and I'm like really don't think a lot once I get to the starting line. Like
Yeah.
once I get to the start line, I'm like, just go. So I kind of shocked myself actually. Even
Yeah.
if I would have been in just 4th, I know the podiums got switched around, but even just getting 4th, I was stoked.
Yeah.
So I like surprised myself as I went through. So the strong I think is so fun at Worlds. If anyone listening hasn't raced at
Yeah.
Worlds on the strong, it's like head to head. And I'm probably the only athlete who's like, oh, can we add a little run in between each station? Like,
Yeah.
let's make
Yeah.
this 100-yard strong. That's great
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
But it's really fun because you can really see where everyone is. Except there's a funny video of me like crossing the finish line and looking over and being like, I forgot there was a whole nother side of people
Yeah.
over there racing
Yeah.
that I wasn't paying attention to.
Yeah.
But I think mindset wise, I think I might take a lot of pressure off on that race because I know it's not like the one that everyone thinks I'm going to win or podium or whatever. So it's kind of fun to be the underdog who just surprises everybody, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But again, like going back to that mentality, I really do think that when we decide, like, again, pressure is a privilege, but when we decide to show up with like, I'm letting go of the outcome, there's no expectation there. I
Yeah.
have to imagine that that's where you thrive.
Yes. And I'm really lucky. So actually that's funny you bring that up because like going into the weekend, it's such a like balance, right? Of pressure and expectation and being realistic and like knowing what you can do,
Yeah.
knowing what you want to do, and just like balancing all these emotions. And so on the way to our fit race, Grayson and I, and then our friend Allie, who we train with, who crushed it that weekend
Yeah.
also, we had a great conversation just in the car of like letting go of outcomes. Like I had certain numbers and like the fit I really wanted to get under 34. And so I had these goals, but we would just talked a lot about like let go of the outcome. Like you're
Mhm.
here. This is amazing. We're gonna have a great weekend. We're doing this because we love it. I never started any race because I thought I was gonna be winning something
Mhm.
or people were gonna recognize me when I walk into a DEKA arena. Like
Yeah.
I just got into it because it's fun and I like seeing what I can do. And so I think that letting go of outcomes was really my theme of the whole weekend, and I think it did help.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So, what would you say then after all the success that you had from that weekend? Were there any big learning lessons or takeaways that you're like, okay, as an athlete, I'm going to run into 2026 with like this close to home?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think every time I like do go through big races, um, I feel a little bit more like, oh, I belong here. And I
Yeah.
think that's a good thing to start to feel a little less. I think that brings down the intimidation factor
Yeah.
and like the nerves. I mean, I still get nervous for races all the time. Like I want to do well, and I like doing well. Like
Yeah.
I like to win things. Um, but I think every time I like go out and prove, it just like puts, like you said, more in the bank of like more confidence of like, okay, I've done this, I've done harder things, I've done this before, I can do this again. So I think it just gives me a more confidence to keep showing up. And um, like I think for me a lot too is keeping the mindset of like I'm gonna turn 40 this year, and like
You're
life is.
so hot for 40, dude. I can't even.
Thank you. Um, let's try to stay that way.
Yes, yes.
Um, but it's like, so there's like all these external or like internal things, right? That are
Yeah.
like mind games that I'm starting to like battle a little bit. So I think watching like myself like stay strong and stay steady and like give myself grace on days when I'm having hard days. And honestly, just like keep showing up and knowing that like that weekend I had lots of emotions, honestly, and like
Yeah.
we had some trouble getting there. Like we had a delayed flight, which in the grand scheme of things like happens to all of us, isn't a big deal. But we have had so many crappy flights this year that I like had a little mini panic attack in the airport. I was like, I don't even want to go anymore, I just want to go home. Like
Yeah.
I was at that point. And it's embarrassing to say now because it's not a big deal, but like at the time I was just like, oh
Yeah.
my god, like we're gonna get there at 10 o'clock at night, I'm gonna be so tired, I'm so stressed out about it. um so I think like every time you can like overcome those mental challenges and just like know that you're going to show up to the start line and do what you're going to do
Mhm.
is good. It's good like mental strength.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, amazing. Good. That's good stuff. Um, so then let's talk about the fact, okay, so you're turning 40 this year,
Yeah,
which is a very fun milestone.
fun
You also have,
milestone.
do you have two kiddos?
Yeah, so I have a 10-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old
Yes.
son, and
Okay.
then Grayson's daughter is 4 almost.
Okay. Okay, so you have like the nice range of things.
Yes.
So being a mom,
Hmm.
what has been like, how do you have to adjust with being an elite athlete with the competitive edge that you have, the goals that you have? You know, you just entered into a marriage, which is so exciting,
Yeah,
right?
thank you.
And you're trying to like, what's the word I'm looking for? You're trying to balance all of these worlds. Like,
Totally.
can you tell us a little bit about what that's like and maybe any challenges that's come about?
Yeah, I think it's super hard. I think like balancing life in general is hard. Whether you have kids or don't have kids or have a full-time job or training is your full-time job, like you're always trying to balance everything. Um I think the biggest thing for moms and what I've kind of learned is like there's going to be different seasons of training and life throughout. So
Yes.
when they were babies, everything looked different. And like when they become teenagers, that's going to look different. So I really try to just stay in like what's working right now with our routines. What do they need from me right now? Like they're not in a ton of after school activities. Um, my work schedule, I balance, like I try to have 2 days a week. So I'm a PT, I run
Yeah.
my own clinic. I try to have 2 days a week where I start really late and I stay late. And those are the nights when they're not usually with me so that I'm not taking time away from them. But then I have like long morning times to get my long workouts in. And then when they are with me in the mornings, I try to get up at like 5:30 or 6 and get my workout in before I have to help get them ready for school. And
Yeah.
so I think for me, probably the biggest thing that helps me is just being really organized in my schedule and
Yeah.
like looking ahead and planning and knowing like, okay, on Saturday, like they have this thing or I have that thing and I'm going to try to train at this time. Um, and I think it's super challenging.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this morning they came, the two big kids came with me to our hybrid camp at a different gym for like 2 hours. And I was just like, sorry, you guys got to come today. Like, bring some books and I'll bring cereal and milk and you can sit at the desk and we're going to run and you can cheer for us. And they were fine. And I think since they've grown up literally watching me like do burpees in the living room at one point, or tons of stroller running and park workouts, and like they know that this is just like part of my life and part of who I am. And I think it's really valuable for them to see that. So I think on the days where I'm like questioning, which honestly I think I've gotten to a point now where I don't question as much, like, am I taking too much time away from them? I'm pretty confident that like I am present when I'm with them, and like leading by example with them. So I don't question it nearly as much. But I think when you get to those points, it's like remembering the lessons you're showing them, that like, I think that maybe our generations of moms lived a lot more for their kids, and that was their number one priority all the time, which is great. But I think we're showing our kids now that like you can have goals outside of just being a mom, or just having a job, or just being a caretaker of the house. It's like, no, this is totally for me. You're going to learn stuff from it, but these are my goals and I'm going to chase these dreams no matter what.
Absolutely. I think it's not even just the picture that you're painting and the lessons that they're learning. It's also like, how can I get them involved and they can learn their own lessons as well too. And so I'm curious, like how, outside of like, hey, you're coming to this hybrid camp for me and you're going to, read some books or whatever. Are you involving them in like your trainings or like the competition weekends? Like how are they involved in all of that?
Yeah, totally. So we, this year we got a big sponsorship from a company called Perform Better. So they've helped us build this beautiful gym that I'm in at home. So it's just in the backyard. So we're very grateful because we have like easy access, but the kids are out here all the time with us now. So like they want to push sleds, they want to like pick up the wall balls. And I kind of let them just explore. Like I don't ever tell them like what to do, but my son has really started to get into sports and soccer and football. So he wants us to time his dead hang while we're like working out.
Oh, heck yeah.
I know, right? And he's better than us, by the way. Or they want to like run on the assault runner for a few minutes. Like, I think they're just really comfortable being in a gym setting and like trying things and lifting things. So when we were doing Spartans more, I would get them to do the Spartan race kids, which they always had fun with. And then I'm trying to think what else, like on race weekends are tricky. Those are a little trickier. So we have to kind of make it into like vacation weekends, a little bit. So like when we went to Vegas last year, they came with us for High Rocks, and I wasn't racing that weekend, which made it easier, but it was like, okay, we're going to go to the aquarium and do this thing for you guys. And then we're going to go to the like convention center, and you guys are going to have to watch the Elite 15 race.
Yeah. Cause this is fun.
Cause this is fun. So like for the Elite 15 race, we actually, for that one, it was really funny because we like told them a lot of the names, and they've heard us talk and they hear us listening to podcasts and watching High Rocks. And so they know like Lauren Weeks and some other people. So we would bet M&Ms on who was going to get out of which station first to keep them interested.
Yes.
And it worked pretty well for like an hour and a half, which is a long time for a kid to watch a High Rocks race.
Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. I love that.
Yeah. The other thing though that helps, honestly, Kayla, is just having like an awesome community of people. So that when we go to a venue, like we have like our core group of people from Boise, and they all know our kids really well from traveling, from going to races, from staying in Airbnbs at a Spartan race with people. Like our kids know them and think of them as friends. And so and we make them wear the Kilgore coaching shirts so everyone knows they belong to us in the arena. And so it really helps to have that community of people you trust who are like, hey, I got to warm up. Can you hang out with Will for a few minutes or whatever? So I think having your people, like prioritizing your time, and just having a lot of support. Way to
absolutely. Like asking for help, leaning on other people. I think sometimes just as humans, we think we have to do it all alone, and you don't. And in fact, I'm sure just there's someone dying that would love to actually help.
Totally.
I think that that's wonderful. And I would also be curious in knowing too, because I think for a lot of the women that I've trained, I have a couple of moms that I train, and they have felt the guilt either when they travel long distances. Like I have a gal that lives all the way in the UK and traveled all the way to DEKA
Oh,
Worlds this year,
yeah.
right? And like that's tough, right? To be away from your children and feeling guilty of being away for that long, et cetera. But just like as you're talking about, like it's really being intentional with that time that you
Mhm.
do have with them and being present. Like, is there any things that you've learned there, or like any advice that you'd give to other moms of just like, hey, like trying to remove that guilt by being more present kind of looks like this, or anything of that sort?
Yeah, well, and I think, man, I think moms have it so hard right now because we have so much pressure from seeing like the perfect social media life, right?
Yeah.
Like with everything. And seeing women who really look like they're doing it all. And I love it when people will do like more realistic shots of like, here's what my laundry room looks like though. You know, because like that's how I am. So I
Yeah.
think giving our like picking and choosing, like giving yourself grace, like you know, maybe you're crushing your training and you're crushing your parenting and your house looks like garbage. That's
Yep.
okay. Like, it's okay right now. I think if you can line up your priorities to know, like, I would rather spend the last hour of my day reading in bed and like falling asleep next to my kid than going and doing the laundry at the end of the day. Like, that's totally fine. So
Mhm.
I think giving yourself grace as a mom um, is part of it. And I think the guilt part is really hard to overcome. I think I felt it probably more when they were little, because you're
Yeah.
afraid you're gonna like you don't want to miss out on that time. So I think yeah, I just keep coming back to like being present and how can you include them. And I think like the younger they were, the more I would do like they would come running with me in the stroller, and we would stop and play at the park,
Yeah.
and then we'd run home, and I would do stuff while they were napping, so I didn't feel like I was missing out. And now I think they're also like a little more independent, so it's easier. So I think probably like to all moms, just knowing that it's like everything's like a phase, right? And it's going to change. And there's going to come a time when they're teenagers and they're not here and you can train for 4 hours because
Yep.
they're
Yep.
out with their friends.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, I think no one should feel guilty about doing the things that they love and doing stuff that's important for them and stuff that's making them healthy. Like these are
Yes.
not bad habits we have. These are like healthy things that we're doing for our bodies and for our brains and for ourselves, and to like have a purpose outside of just being like mom as your identity. Like having
Absolutely.
another identity, I think is going to be more valuable than our kids thinking we're at their like beck and call 24 hours a day.
100%. Yeah. I think that that's so important. So I'm excited for my girls that get to hear you say that. Cause
Okay.
again, we've had that conversation, but sometimes just hearing it from other people and
Yeah.
being like, okay, like they get it. It's fine. Give myself grace. So
Yes. Yeah. And the
amazing.
struggle, like the struggle's real. And I think that like you got to just let those feelings come and go. Like
Yeah.
you're going to have days where maybe you do feel guilty that you're missing something. And then other days where you're like, you know, I was with them all day and we did everything they wanted to do. They're fine, you know?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's get into the juicy stuff. So
Okay.
I'm over here like I have to hear about how the Gracie and Katie thing happened. 'Cause so we obviously won't make this like a crazy thing, but I am curious to know like when did you guys like race for the first time, or like did he see
Mhm.
you and was like, okay, this girl's good. I'm choosing her as a race partner. Like how did that all come about?
Yeah, well, like I said, we so I really wanted to be on the Spartan Pro team, and like when I went to his first DECA class, he was like, "Hi, I'm Grace," and blah blah blah. I was on the Spartan Pro team, and I was like, "Perfect! Like this was meant to be. I was meant to meet this person.
Yeah.
Like I want to be on the Spartan Pro team. You're gonna be my coach." And then the Spartan Pro team's like dissolved, and so but he started coaching me. And what's funny is at the time, he'll probably be embarrassed about this, but he was just starting coaching and I didn't know that,
Yeah.
but he had like one client. And I was like his number two client.
I
And I
love
thought he was
that.
like some big coach and all these people that he was like training. But I was like one of his first clients. And we actually not like butt heads, but we were kind of like we had to have a conversation in the first like few weeks of like, I mean, I was definitely the person who probably overtrained and never was easy enough on my easy days and hard enough on my hard days. So he started writing me workouts. And after like 2 weeks, I like was in a panic and I texted him and I was like, we need to talk. Like, this is what I normally do. And I like showed him my schedule. I was like, you're having me do like a quarter of this. And so we had to have a real like heart to heart of like what programming is like and what coaching is like, and like how he's going to make me run super slow so that I can go super fast.
Wow.
And I had to like become a believer.
Did everyone hear that?
I know it works, guys. I'm getting older and faster. Just
Shocker.
Yep. Yes, it does work. And it's funny because like I'm a PT, I'm an athlete. Like I know the data, but it's hard to trust when you're doing your own programming, I think.
Yep.
And I was also living, my kids then were like, 4 and 6. So it was like, oh, I got 30 minutes. I'm going to sprint a workout. And then it'd be like, oh, well, I have an hour and a half. I'm going to do a long workout. And so I really just based on how much time I had, not like, how does my body feel? What's my schedule like training? So anyway, so we just became like instant friends. Like we were just like, very like-minded, very similar athletes. He wasn't racing a ton at the time. And then he started getting back into like racing DEKA.
Yeah.
And we did a DEKA mile together that summer, I think. And then we did our first like big DEKA race together at DEKA Worlds in 2023. And we got second, probably to you.
No, not in 23. 23, it was my first year. Yeah. Okay, so I was in age group as a little baby, like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah, so we got second in the mile, and it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of kept snowballing from there. And then we started dating, and
here we are.
Here we are. And it's funny, honestly, we both were kind of like, we'll probably never get married again. And then we were like, moved in together.
Kind of like you. Yep.
And then we were like, let's get married. And then my parents were a little shocked when I was like, hey, we're getting married next week, but no one's coming. It's just us and the kids.
So perfect, though.
It was perfect. And it was like, we really wanted it to be like, not just making a commitment to each other, but a commitment to our kids and as a family. So we really wanted it to just be the 5 of us. And my sister did the ceremony, and it was just like down by the river. It was perfect. It was chaos. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, this isn't a wedding you want to be at. Like there's goose poop as you walk, and there's kids hitting bushes with sticks during the vows. Like it's stressful. You don't want to be there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But my heart's like fluttering of like, that's the way it should be.
It is. It was like, we've always said, it's kind of like ever since we've gotten together, we were like, it's kind of like us, and then the world just swirling around us. So our wedding was very much that. So.
Yeah. So now let's kind of dive into, you guys are obviously your own separate athletes. You kick ass at individual races. You come together and you're just this powerhouse team. Mm-hmm. What is it like to train with your life partner? And like, do you find yourself like still butting heads? Like, tell us the behind the scenes of that.
Yeah. So, well, it's funny. I should probably exaggerate when I say butt heads, but I definitely push back on things. And one of our first conversations when he was like, I'm going to make you a better athlete, I was like, I think I'm going to make you a better coach. Like, I'm really difficult. Like, I'm pretty high maintenance, pretty intense, pretty competitive, never satisfied with my paces. So you might think I did a fantastic job, but I'm going to be pissed about it and want to be faster. So deal with that. So he's definitely learned a lot, I think, about coaching personalities like mine. Mm-hmm. But it's a huge, huge blessing to be with someone who gets it. Like we talk a lot about, so like in our community in Boise, we talk a lot about like, there's just several of our athletes who have said, man, my partner doesn't think this is worth it. Or so-and-so thinks I'm spending too much time traveling, and I don't know if I should spend money on traveling and training, and what's the purpose of all of it? And so it's so nice to have someone who's never going to ask me why are you training? Why do you want to race? Like, he just gets it. He gets that we're like I'm not training for one race and then I'm done. I think a lot of times maybe partners who aren't involved with your training or athletics or racing what you race might think like, oh, good, they're going to do this race and they're done. And it's like, no, this is never ending for us. This isn't like a one and done race. So it's really nice to know that you just have that endless support. As far as like coaching and athlete relationship goes, it's amazing to have someone like he'll be in the house and I'll be doing my hard intervals on the assault runner and I can text him and be like, come out here and talk to me. Or like, I'm totally like failing this. What should I do? Or for the successes, like yesterday, I crushed my 1Ks, and I'm like, come look at my paces. I wrote them all down as I was running.
Yeah.
So it is fun to have that like instant feedback. And then also, we're just constantly sharing ideas and concepts about not just like training programs and coaching, but mindset and like how we go into races. And it's actually really funny because we have completely different approaches when we race. Like he is like very like loud and wants to like talk to people all day before the race. And like he could, I mean, like when we went to Spain for the last chance qualifier, like he had food poisoning the whole week. And then he
Oh,
shows up and he's like, I'm gonna win. I got this. Like, okay, you've eaten like bread, but go for it. And I'm the opposite. I could be like so well prepared and I'm just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do today. I don't know
yeah.
if I even should race. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So and like the way we like prepare, like our first race racing together for that DEKA mile a few years ago, he was like, okay, you want to like run together? You want to race? And I was like, no, I'm going to put my earbuds in and I'm going to go run by myself and get ready, like, so we just have like different approaches day of.
Yeah.
But we've gotten really good at traveling together and like picking hotels and like knowing where we want to eat and like
That's
having
fun.
very like-minded of like, we're not going to go walk all around the city. Cause I think, again, if you're traveling with someone who's not racing, they're like, ooh, I want to go walk around Chicago. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, we're just going to see the hotel room and
Yep.
that's okay.
Yep.
Like we're
Yeah.
okay with that. So yeah, it's fun to be able to just always have someone to like dissect any aspect of training you want, and be pumped when you do well and be there when you're like, oh, I'm slow today. I got nothing.
Yep.
I slept like crap. I don't think I can do this. And to just help talk you through it all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys have any like either pre-race rituals like right before the gun goes off or like when you're done? Like I have to imagine that when you guys are done, like is there a point where you guys like download and like celebrate like I'm proud of you for this or that? Like is there anything that happens behind the scenes there?
Well, going into races, like we actually are pretty dang goofy.
Good.
Like we're very not serious. Like if people knew what we talked about before races, they'd be like, "You guys are serious athletes. Like, what are you like? You're talking about nothing." But
Yep.
we tend to like strategize really hard for the few days leading up to the race, and then like the day before, it's just like, "All right, let's just go do it.
Let it rip.
Let's just do it." Yeah. So we're pretty silly, and we like to listen to like silly songs or just make each other laugh. We have a lot of funny inside jokes that we'll say to
Perfect.
each other on the start line just to like lighten it up. Because at the end of the day, it's just really fun to race with your person.
Yeah.
Like, and we like even if we came in last, we probably still have so much freaking fun out there.
Yeah.
And then post race, tons of downloading and debriefing and like again, just I think after our fit, we just literally like laid in the hallway and just like as thoughts come, you'd be like, oh my gosh, remember this part of the race? Or,
Yeah.
I want to tell you about this thing, or tell me about what you were thinking at that station. Or like,
Yes.
I made eye contact with you and you smiled and I knew and you knew and we knew that you were going to crush that.
Yeah.
So it's fun because we joke about like, we just have this connection that is you can't beat. Like,
Yeah.
so when we come
Absolutely.
together, I think we are better together.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, just going back to like, I think what you have so dialed in is like the right before the gun goes off. It's this I'm goofy. I've put in all the work. It's just time to let it
It's just time
rip.
to
And
do it.
like to have
Yeah.
someone that does that with you, like how lucky you are. Like Kevin and I are also very different. He wants to talk to everyone and be the social person. I'm
I
like, I'm
know.
going to go warm up.
Yeah. Yeah. Me and you should start warming up together. We won't
Yes.
talk. We won't look at each other. We'll
Yes.
just
Yes.
silently run.
Yes, exactly. But it's so good to just come back to again the why. And it's
Yeah.
just like it's this love for getting to watch yourself elevate, getting to do that alongside of someone else,
Yeah.
just literally having your heart on fire
Yeah.
and your lungs on fire as you're doing
Yes,
all of it.
totally.
So
Well, and as cheesy as it sounds, it really is like we see each other working so hard and we're like, I'm not quitting for like I'm gonna
yes.
go as hard as possible. I'm gonna
Yeah.
sprint as fast as I can to him because
Yeah.
he's gonna do that for me. And like we've gotten to the point in most of our like we have our plan, right? But we've gotten really good at knowing like when to call the audible or when to say like, hey, I need you to take the first burpees or whatever. And I think that's also something you get from training day in and day out and being
Yeah.
with someone so much.
Yeah, and you don't need to race with your life partner to have that connection. Like Kevin and I have that because of the relationship we built behind the scenes. So for anyone
Yeah.
listening to this, it's like, oh man, I really need to find a way to get my hubby or my wife
Yeah.
into
No,
this. Yeah,
we're a
it's
very unique situation.
very, very unique. Well, and you brought up something too that I definitely am curious to know your answer on. And I think this is
Okay.
just, it's very tough because I've had to answer this question
Mhm.
too. Again, going back to some of the same group of mothers is when your partner is like, why are we spending so much money on this? Why are you so involved in this? Blah, blah. They just don't get it. And my
Yeah.
heart goes out to them so
Yeah.
hard. Is
Mhm.
there like, how have you had a conversation or what do you discuss with that person
Mhm.
that is coming to you and telling you those things?
Yeah. I think, man, that is a hard conversation to have, and I think we have that conversation often, and I think for us, it's being the community for those people. So like
Yeah.
we become their person that they travel with. I mean, you guys are all great at having like this big
Yeah.
Airbnb and like it's a community. So maybe someone's there like solo, their husband or wife or partner, whatever, isn't there. But they know that they have this group that does believe in what they believe in. And I think just like balancing your time with your kids, if your partner doesn't train like you do or want to race like you do, it's probably there's probably got to be some balance of like finding that common ground. I think hopefully those people have something in common that they want to do with their partner
Yeah.
that makes them closer. Because I think if you don't have that, it's really hard. Um, but man, that's just really hard. I think if you don't
Yeah.
have that support. So I think finding someone you can train with, finding some sort of like social group, community that do what you want to do and have the same goals
Yeah.
as you and tells you and reminds you like, no, this is for you though. This
Yeah.
is your time. I mean, there are way worse hobbies to have than running and lifting weights and
Yeah.
racing. And if you think about like time people spend doing other things, I mean, we often joke, we're like, what do normal people do on a Saturday?
Yeah.
like,
I know
like
because I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm like, what? So, I mean, there's probably stuff to do.
Yeah.
So I just mean like, if like that's how you're choosing to spend your time, I think it's probably something you have to talk to that your partner about. Of like,
Yeah.
maybe you have to explain your why a little bit more, and maybe you have to reflect on what your why is in order to verbalize that.
Yeah. It's definitely like you have to have a tough conversation with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's in order for that. And to just be able to say, yeah, not only like your why
Yeah.
behind your why you're doing this, but then also like what you were even talking about with like your priorities. Like what are our priorities as a relationship, as a family, if you have kids, and being able to lay those out so that way it's like, okay, like my training is not going to take away time from this and that's our agreement, but I at least need your respect
Mm-hmm.
when I'm in this phase type thing. And then all of the other support, like the cheerleader, the excitement, the achievements,
Mm-hmm.
like all of that stuff, there's a whole community waiting
Right.
to take that on for you. So just realizing that yes, as much it'd be amazing to have your life partner be that person that's
Yeah.
with you along for the ride. It doesn't have to be, and you're not failing if it's not that
Right.
person either. So,
Yeah.
but you do need to have the conversation.
Yeah. And I think that like you can turn race weekends into cool vacation weekends. I mean, a lot like we're lucky that so many races are in fun cities, right? Or like we went to the beach the night after the last race and
Yeah.
stayed there for a night. And it's like, I think if you can get someone to understand maybe your why and why you want like why it's valuable to you, and then bring them along. I think anyone who like really would like love someone else would see that joy that racing might bring, and like the joy of working hard towards something and becoming successful, like win or lose, like accomplishing a race is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Getting to a race healthy is a huge deal. Then
Yeah.
accomplishing that race, I would think that seeing that whole process would make them more invested in your journey also. So maybe it's
100%.
not that you're going to say like, hey, I'm going to go do this weekend and then you can have a weekend alone. Maybe it's like, hey, I really want you to come to this weekend and see what I do and
Love
see the
that.
people around me. and maybe that would excite them for you to become
Yeah.
your cheerleader, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Cause I do think that some of it is fear or doubt of like,
Mhm.
why don't I have that thing?
Sure.
Or I could never do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Like for the
I'm
person who's
exposing.
not into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is intimidating. And especially if like, you're winning something or like really high up, like I think it's probably super hard. But it's also like I've had some injuries where I've had to just be the cheerleader and I'm like, holy crap, this is fun. Like one, I get to eat whatever I want and I don't have to like worry
Yeah.
about pre-race meals or like hydration and I can be on my feet all day.
Yep.
But two, it's like so fun to like watch someone you love go out and do the thing they want to do and
Yep.
just be able to like be present and like be there for them. So I
100%.
think for both like any couple that's struggling with that stuff, it's like maybe embracing like that role of you get to be the cheerleader that lifts them up, which
Yep.
is actually a pretty cool thing to be.
Yes, absolutely. Well, so what's next for you? And you can include Grayson in this too, because I'm sure you guys
Okay.
have some fun teams races like lined
Yeah.
up. Have you thought about what 2026 is going to look like for you?
Yes, we're always thinking about it. Like
Always.
always trying to figure out our life
Yes.
trajectory. Um, right now, I think we're gonna do Phoenix. We haven't 100% decided. We have some tickets, but we have all the kids that weekend, and that is a lot of money and travel and all that kind of stuff. So we haven't totally 100% decided on that, but possibly Phoenix. I have a ticket for Vegas, and
Oof.
then we're gonna go to March DC for High Rocks.
You said that's your bigger one that you're most
Yes, my
excited for. What are
big,
you racing?
scary. Yeah, I'm racing the open, and so I recently started switching to open racing instead of
Yeah.
pro, and I just think it fits me better,
Yeah.
and it's fun, and I like it. And so my big scary goal is trying to go sub 60 on that
Whoo!
race. I know. So I ran a 102 something wherever we were, Chicago, I think. So that's my big scary goal this year. So now everyone knows it,
Yep, perfect.
which I
Now
don't like,
we get to watch.
so yeah, I want to do well in that race, and then we'll have some DEKA fits in there, and
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys could come out to Denver, race at
I saw that Denver had one,
Mhm.
which isn't that bad of a flight from Boise. So
No, it's not at all. I'm like hoping that some people come out. I know I get it. It's the elevation, but you guys are animals. Just get out here.
yeah, it's funny. So like, because I was born in Arkansas and we moved to Boise when I was like a kid, and then I went to school in South Carolina and then came back, and so I always think like I just don't feel like elevation and humidity affect me as much.
There you go.
But
Perfect.
that might just be me
Yes.
pretending. I don't know.
Yes. I love that though. But
But
still, because I think a lot of people think that it does and it mentally gets in their way.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a good test.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we got some high rocks. I'm excited to see you do your thing in March then. I'll be doing a couple doubles
Yeah.
races out there. So
Okay, cool. Yeah. What's next for you? You
um
said
I am doing High Rocks Phoenix. I'm going to be doing
Phoenix.
my first
Okay.
open solo
Awesome.
ever. So that'll be fun to take on the 100
So
wall ball
fun.
mountain.
Yes.
Doing a couple of relays out there too, which will be super fun. And then
Awesome.
after that, it will be High Rocks DC. So
Yeah.
it's like we were talking about this before we pressed record. It's just a whole different sort of beast, but I think you have to have those years of like, I'm just here to learn and experience and not
Yeah.
necessarily like to win and to be on top of podiums and all that. Like
Yeah.
I'm ready to like not make, oh, I'm not the best runner as the excuse, or like I don't have the same sort of engine. Like, well, let's just go learn. Let's go figure it out and
Yeah.
see what happens. And you might shock yourself in the process.
Yeah. Well, we always like talk to our people about like training for all these things it's not necessarily just for racing. It's like so functional for life. Like
Yeah.
I want to be a person that when someone's like, hey, you want to go mountain bike? I'm like, yep, I can do that. Or like, hey, you
Oh,
want to go
yeah.
on a trail run? Yep, I can do that. Want to go row and canoe all day? Yep, I can do that. Like my body is here. Like all this training is just making me better so I can run and play with my kids and play on the playground and do monkey bars with them and carry them around. So I think you're right. I think like we have all these race goals, but really our goal is to just be like fitter, stronger, better humans, I think
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Mentally and physically,
Mentally
like
and
to live
physically, for
life
sure.
that we want to live it. Like I tell my story all the time of how I was depressed and lethargic on a couch. And when you lose years to that, it's like,
Yeah.
screw it. Like I'm here, I'm in it. Let's just
Yeah.
see like what's the I only lose if I don't try. So
Right. I did go back through your Instagram and I think
yeah.
your story is amazing. So I don't know how many episodes you've done of just about your story, but at some point someone needs to just interview you, I think,
Yeah. Oh, I
and hear
appreciate
your
it.
story.
Yeah, I've been on a couple of podcasts, so we'll see. Who knows? Maybe someone listening to this will be like, her, come here. So well, Katie, it's been so fun having you on the
Yeah,
podcast and
thank you
getting
so
to know
much.
you a little bit more. Is there any last things that you want to share for the listeners? Any messages on your heart or?
Oh, well, one fun announcement is I am going to start helping Grayson with Kilgore coaching more. So, yeah, I'm super excited. So, I am going to start taking on a couple of my own DEKA clients.
Yes.
So, if anyone out there is interested in, it will still be a lot of him doing the programming, but I'll be doing all the like feedback and communication,
Yeah.
which I think is like the super fun part for me.
Uh-huh.
I secretly do that with some of his athletes already. I'm like, let me answer that message. I know the answer. Like,
Yeah.
it's really fun.
Pick me.
Yeah, and I think DECA is a really fun sport. So I like that. Mine's going to be a little bit more maybe specific to that because I think the station work is just really fun and athletic and like technique oriented. So if anyone's interested, they can reach out to me or Grayson on Instagram.
Yes.
But we'll be starting that up, and then I think for 2026, I think I'm still my goal is to just still be present in whatever I'm doing and make space for all the feelings that come and go as my life changes some and I get a little older gracefully, hopefully. And just being proud of what I've accomplished and keep pushing forward.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm excited to watch you do your thing. Hopefully we'll see you in Phoenix, but for sure I'll see you out in DC.
Yes.
And thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much.